Hello guys, this is Lydia, the lifestyle coach, ending eating disorders using nothing but your brain. And we're talking about overeating, emotional eating, stress eating, food obsession, body hate, binge eating, bulimia, all the food crazies is what we are ending here. And this is the next part of our series of if you think it's this is what you need to know. And what we are doing is we are busting myths and we are demystifying and we are reviewing all of the very many things out there that are purported to fix eating disorders or manage eating disorders or whatever it is. There's just like so many ways and a lot of bad information out there. And so we are bringing you guys just the good information of what we know actually works from the data and the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that we have helped be completely free from their eating disorders, sometimes after 40 or 60 years of being in the cycle and just a handful of weeks being able to be completely done. And the solution is elegant and simple, and it gets really muddy with all of the stuff in the way because we have stuff in our brain of like, oh, well, it's this and it's this, and then we try to put all these things together. And so we're clearing the mud, and so you guys can really have good information of what actually works. So hello and welcome, and so fun to see you guys on. And if you want to pop in the comments, of course, any of your experience or questions or whatever you want to share, of course, like the likes and the hearts are always welcome, and hello, so fun to see you guys on. But if there is something that you want us to specifically review, feel free to pop it in the comments, and we can absolutely go over it with the information from what we know actually works. So today we're going to talk about a really important element of if you think it's about no longer dieting, if you think just ending dieting is going to fix your struggle with food, these are the things that you really need to know about that. And you guys know that I talk about this all the time, right? The number one cause of eating disorders is restrictive dieting. And so one would think, oh, well, if I just stopped dieting, then it would fix my problem. And so here are the things that you really need to understand about that process. And in the 5 elements of ending binge eating, that masterclass, if you guys haven't seen that, go to lifewithlydia.com and you'll be able to see the little button there for the free masterclass, and you can catch the playback of that. But one of the elements is eat what you want. And this is something that is oftentimes confused because although it's an important element of being free, it needs to be done the right way. And so we're going to go over how that gets muddied along the way so you guys can be clear on that. So deprivation drives cravings. And a lot of us, we realize this after a while. Like if you tell yourself, I'm not going to have sugar ever again, what do you end up binging on that night, right? Got all this sugar in front of you and it's going to be the last time, and then that just keeps going and going. So a lot of us pick up on this element of like, oh, like, when I deprive something, then it actually drives up my cravings. Well, then I have to stop depriving things. But then we get stuck in, but I can't eat whatever I want, because if I don't deprive myself, then I just would eat bread and chocolate all day and I would gain 500 pounds. And so we're in this really stuck place. But you try it, right? You're just like, okay, well, I'm just going to stop dieting. I'm just going to, allow myself anything. I'm not going to have anything off limits. And then you binge. And this is the thing that you've been trying to not do over and over and over. You're trying to not binge. And the moment that you try to end the dieting, then you're binging worse than before. And so you feel really awful that you binge and that you have to do something about it. And so you feel really stuck because we can't restrict, because we know that that drives up cravings and we binge. And then we can't stop dieting or just have everything, legal and allow everything, because then we still binge, right? And what you want to do, if you did whatever you wanted, if you were just completely allowing, is you want to eat. You want to keep eating. You want to eat the rest of the bag. You want to just eat chocolate and bread all day long. The very fact that you're in this trouble is because that's your desire. That's what you want to do, along with this other desire, of course, to not do it. But if you were really just like having whatever you wanted, that doesn't feel good to you. And that's the point. And then it gets even more serious when we have health issues, right? I'm diabetic. I'm not saying I'm diabetic, but this is a very common thing that we hear. It's like, well, I'm diabetic. I can't just eat whatever I want. I can't just go ahead and just eat sugar all day. Like, I'll go into a coma. Okay, well, that's a valid thing. And, well, I can't just eat whatever I want. I have food allergies. Like, if I eat gluten, I'll die. Okay, well, that's a valid thing. So then how does that work? And we start getting more and more confused because, well, when I restrict these things that I, in quotes, can't have, then I binge on them. And when I allow the things I, in quotes, can't have, then I still binge on them. And so we start just feeling so incredibly stuck in this cycle of this paralyzing, well, I don't know what to do and I don't know where to go. And you feel like it's true. You feel like I do want that. I know that I shouldn't have sugar, but I do really want sugar. I promise myself in the morning that I'm not going to have carbs, but then I binge on them at night. And so then we start losing trust in ourselves because it's like the more that we say that we don't want that because we want something more for our lives, we want to be healthy, we want to end our binge eating. And in that very declaration, we end up doing it more. And I've been there and I know how awful that is. So the tricky thing about this approach, if you are going on your own in this, if you're just like, okay, well, I'm just going to stop dieting and maybe that'll fix my problem because it's like the 14 millionth time that you've tried something new, right? Okay, well, I'll just try to stop dieting. The sticky thing about this is that when you really do say, okay, I'm going to allow everything, I'm going to eat whatever I want, a lot of times you will have some mental relief. It will feel like a relief. It will feel like, oh, I'm not obsessed with food so much. And it will have this element of feeling like things are getting better. And so what happens is we're like, oh, okay, like I'm feeling less confused about food, or I'm feeling less obsessed about food, and I'm just allowing whatever I want, and whatever I want, I just have it. And if it's a dozen cupcakes, okay. And if I have a craving for ice cream, I just let myself eat the whole thing, and I'm just, I'm not dieting anymore. And it feels better for a minute. And there is usually some mental relief, and then we get on the scale, or then we go to the doctor. And we realize that we've gained 20 pounds in our trying to be allowing and trying to be off of a diet. And we panic. And we panic so much that we go right back to this restriction, right back to the dieting because now it's really an emergency. And then our binging gets worse again. And so when people try to do this on their own and they try to just like, okay, well, I'm just gonna, if I want something, I'll just have however much I want of it. You know what? Like, I don't want cupcakes to have power over me anymore, so I'm just gonna eat them and eat them and eat them until they don't have power over me anymore. Well, mentally, you may feel a little more relaxed about cupcakes if you're really having them all day, every day. But then you panic when you get on the scale, and you do that 5 times with that whole, okay, 20 pounds up because I'm gonna try allowing again, and you've gained 100 pounds. And now it feels like more and more of an emergency because you're really physically having problems. You're having health problems. Like, it's not actually healthy for you to be eating cupcakes all day long. So here is what has to happen with this. This is what you've got to know if you're trying to just let go of the dieting, because that element on its own can be very powerful. But if you do it wrong and without the right structure, then it just ends up making your problem even worse. So it's not about eating whatever your eating disorder wants. It's about really getting in touch with what you want and being able to melt away those cravings on the foundational level of your eating disorder so that you can get in touch with what you want. Okay, so looking at this, you say, all right, I'm just going to eat whatever I want. Well, what I want is to binge, and I want all of this sugar. That's what I really want. I'm just going to eat whatever I want. But then afterwards, after you've binged, after you've done that, you feel horrible, and you feel regret, and you feel shame. So do you see this, you guys? It's not really what you wanted, or you wouldn't feel so much guilt around it. If it was truly what you wanted, if you said, I'm going to just eat what I want. Okay, well, I want to binge. And then you go and you binge. And then you're like, no, what did I do? If that's what you wanted, you'd be like, yeah, high five me. Like, this is awesome. That's really what I wanted. Woohoo, I binged. I'm going to call my friends and I'm going to be like, you guys, I binged and it was so great. I did what I wanted. So obviously, it's not what you wanted. And really, like, the key that we see with, hundreds and hundreds of clients over is this is the missing piece, is they see some element of truth here on their own of like, okay, well, I know the deprivation makes things worse, and I know that I need to be allowing with things. And the key is to really get in touch with what you want. And so for our clients, the first foundational thing that we do is we get the disordered eating out of the way. We get the cravings out of the way. We get the compulsions out of the way. We get the urges to binge out of the way. And once those are out of the way first, then they can get in touch with, okay, well, what do I want? And what they find out is that their desires, their true desires, are very different from their eating disorder. And they're also not on the other side of their eating disorder. Is like, oh, what I want is, all I want is lettuce all day, lettuce and a little squeeze of lemon juice. That's truly what I want. Food is fuel. It's getting in touch with those true desires. So we had a client that graduated a little while ago after about 25 years of just struggling with, back and forth from like, binge eating, bulimia, overeating, like it oftentimes just goes round and round, right? And so now she's completely free in just, I think it was about the 6-week mark for her in, working with her, and she's done. And the cool thing that she found is when she really got her eating disorder thoughts out of the way, and she could actually be allowing whatever she wanted, that she had the desire for totally reasonable things. And it was like this incredible, like, building of trust with her and herself, right? Like, she celebrated once, she went out to eat and she had a salad because she just wanted a salad. And then she had a side of fries because she wanted some fries. And it was no big deal. She's like, I have never eaten those things together before. It's either like I'm restricting and I'm just looking at the salads and I'm telling them to leave the dressing on the side and take off the carrots and like all of this like really like, diet mentality stuff. Or she's off the wagon and she's going and she's having, everything like the worst, like greasiest, fattiest, carbiest stuff plus a milkshake. And she's like, it was amazing to be able to get in touch with what I actually wanted, which was a salad and some fries. And being able to just have one cookie and move on. It's not about not having the cookie. It's about getting your eating disorder out of the way and then realizing that you can enjoy and be satisfied and not want anymore after one cookie. You don't have to have Halloween candy all year round or like, sneak into the cupboard and like, you don't actually want that. That's why it feels so ridiculous after you do it. You can just go to bed. You can just get your eating disorder out of the way and then do exactly what you want, which may be to have something after the kids go to bed, or it might be to just sleep and not have to stay up and be tired for the rest of your life because while your family is sleeping, you're binging. And so the fun thing is that you get to be really surprised by what you actually want when you're not always controlled by what your eating disorder wants and then trying to battle that. And it's really about learning to trust yourself. So this is what you need to know about if you think the answer is no longer dieting, is you can't have that be successful on top of still being driven by your eating disorder. You've got to get that out of the way first. So you guys, this is great. It's so fun to see your comments. Oh, I love that. Oh, okay. So there's a great comment here about, the other things that can set us off, right? It's like, we try to be allowing them, we see ourselves in the mirror. We try to be allowing them, we go to the doctor. We try to be allowing them, somebody makes a comment. We try to be allowing them, we realize we have to get, all new clothes. So this is, the thing that I want you guys to not have to be stuck in is, you've got to be able to get the eating disorder out of the way first. And if this is something that you've been trying and not doing successfully on your own, you guys can have a free session so that we can get the clarity and really serve you. This is a session that you can have with our team, and we have a really specific foundation of freedom that we're going to help you to get so that you can be on the right track to truly be done with your eating disorder. You can go to lifewithlydia.com/apply. Again, that's lifewithlydia.com/apply, and you can book a free session with us. Yeah, awesome. Beautiful, guys. Oh, love your comments. Keep with the good stuff here. So fun to see you on. And again, this is Lydia, the lifestyle coach, signing off. Mwah. Bye, guys.